I just spur of the moment because I heard some breaking news today about a new Star Trek series being announced. So this is a huge news because I've been waiting like decades to see if they were going to do another Star. Well, maybe 1 decade is a bit of an exaggeration, but to see if they do another Star Trek movie. Um, and or TV series, sorry. And so I don't know how to feel about this because at first I was really excited, but then to sort of get into the details of what's going on.
Because I heard some breaking news today
because it's apparently like it's gonna be done by the same people who were involved in the Star Trek reboot films, the recent reboot films. So they weren't very specific, but it says it's going to be the showrunner is going to be Alex Kurtzman, who I wasn't very familiar with. The name sounded a little bit familiar, so I looked him up, and I think I probably heard his name mentioned in like some Lost material and stuff, but he wasn't really involved in Lost, but he's involved in a lot of other Bad Robot projects. Like, well, mainly he wrote the Star Trek movie and Star Trek Into Darkness with some other people like Damon Lindelof. And so I went to look him up on IMDb, and the first two movies that came up that for his writing credits was The Amazing Spider-Man 2 and Transformers. So those two things didn't really inspire me when I heard about those two movies, first of all. But I don't know. But the thing is like I'm a bit iffy about this being involved with the new Star Trek people, the Star Trek reboot people doing this, because as you know, if you've watched my channel, I do not care for those Star Trek reboots very much. I mean, the first one was okay, and the second one was a bit better, but I don't know, because I want another Star Trek show, because they've been talking about trying to do another Star Trek show. There's just like fan-driven series called Star Trek Renegades, and they tried to sort of make that official, but no studios will really want to sign on for that, so they're just doing it as a fan sort of. It's got actors from the Star Trek series in it, like it has Robert Picardo and a few other Voyager and Deep Space Nine actors, and it's got Walter Koenig in it. And so they tried to do that as an official thing, but it didn't quite work, so they're just doing it as like a fan series. And I won't really say much about it because it's got very low production values, and I wasn't the happiest with the script writing. And then there's also apparently Michael Dorn was trying to get a Star Trek Captain Worf series going, and he's been trying to do this for a while now, and that never sort of took off. But apparently they're going to go with this, and the announcement didn't say what the series is going to be about. It just said it would feature totally new characters, new aliens, and new interstellar locations. So see, I think I'm going to reserve judgment until I see what the setting is. Not so much as where, as much as when, which I think will make a huge difference. Because since we know it's going to be done by the reboot team, the main question I have is it going to be set in this parallel universe that the reboots are set in? Because if it is, my interest automatically flats. Automatically goes way down, because those Star Trek reboot movies are okay for a laugh. It's a good popcorn and summer blockbuster flick, but it's not really what I want out of my Star Trek, which is why I always say I don't actually consider it Star Trek. But so I don't know if I want that as a TV show. But if it's done by the same team, I don't really have a problem with that. But I don't want it set in the same universe as a universe where someone can go straight from being a cadet to being a captain instantly of a starship, and where what else happened in that movie that was ridiculous? A lot of other like ridiculous things have. Oh, where someone can transport from Earth to Kronos instantly, and Dr. McCoy has apparently solved death. It's just those movies do a lot of. It has no sort of logic behind it. It's just really crazy and all over the place, and I don't want a TV show like that. That being said, the Bad Robot guys, I know like J.J. Abrams, his name hasn't been mentioned anywhere about this TV show, so he's probably not involved at all, but I'm assuming it's going to be a Bad Robot production. The Alex Kurtzman apparently is also the creator of Fringe, which was a pretty good show. Its first 3 seasons were good anyway. It jumped the shark after that. But anyway, yeah, I don't mind that they're involved. And the thing with them is that they always do better TV than they do movies, which does give me some hope. Because, like Lost, I loved Lost. I loved Fringe was really good. And Alias is okay, I guess. But they have another couple shows. They have a better track record with shows, let's put it that way, than they do with films. Because films, we got the Mission Impossible sequels, which were okay. I mean, all the films basically were just like mindless popcorn summer blockbuster flicks, like the Star Treks and Mission Impossible sequels. I didn't like Mission Impossible 3 or Ghost Protocol that much. I mean, they were just a one-off. I watched them all and I forget about it a couple hours later. I was a bit more impressed with Rogue Nation, but it's still nothing I would describe as great. It's funny because I think my 2 favorite films from that Bad Robot team would be Star Trek Into Darkness and Super 8. I loved Super 8. I was a huge fan of Super 8. I thought that was J.J. Abrams' best film, in my opinion, doing a really homage to Steven Spielberg. And it's funny because I was watching an episode of Movie Fights a while ago, and they were arguing about J.J. Abrams. And this one guy mentions, oh, you're talking about the guy who did Star Trek Into Darkness and Super 8 has a way to say that he sucks. I'm like, but those are his 2 best films. So they don't always suck when it comes to films, but they don't have a very good track record. They have a much better track record with TV. So it does give me a bit of hope that they're going to be a bit better with doing a TV show rather than movies. But it's because, like, for the Star Trek Beyond that's supposed to come out next year, I am not the least bit excited about that. I'm just sort of like kind of, oh yeah, when it comes out, I'll see it, but I'm not like foaming at the mouth because, as I said, I don't really care about these reboots that much. So it depends on what the show's about. When is it set? I mean, I'm just going to be excited that Star Trek is going back to TV format because we haven't seen a Star Trek TV show in modern day where shows are much better quality than they were like typically in the 90s. And the main reason for that is typically you have shorter seasons and they're serialized. So from what I understand, because this new Star Trek show is going to be released on CBS's online service, whatever the hell they call it. From what I understand, they're trying to compete with Netflix. It's like their Netflix version. And so from what I understand, this new Star Trek series will be released like a Netflix series. I'm not too sure about that, but it sounds that way. It's going to be released all at once. And so that makes me think if it's going to be done more of a serialized fashion and it's going to have like a shorter season, more like the newer modern day shows like to do. And that's something I'd like to see. I think they could do something very well, regardless of the premise. Even if the premise sounds horrible to me, I think they could take that format and make something really interesting. But yeah, I would be a lot more interested if they set it in Next Generation times as opposed to the original series times. I definitely don't want to do pre the original series. I mean, we already got that with Enterprise, which was a disaster. I don't know. If it's the same team as the Star Trek reboots, it makes you think it's probably going to be set during original series time, which I won't reject outright, but that's not my preference. I prefer they do either Next Generation times or after Next Generation times. They set like 100 years in the future there. That would be interesting. What I certainly don't want is that stupid parallel universe of the reboots. What might be interesting if they do the parallel universe of the reboots, but set it in Next Generation time, so you get the parallel universe of the Next Generation. That might be interesting, but that I think they'd avoid doing that, because the whole point of doing the reboots is that they reboot the future because they don't have to worry about all the lore, which is part of the reason why I hate it, because I love the lore. And I love because when they said this new series would explore new aliens, the first thought that came to mind is I don't care about new aliens. I want to see the Star Trek aliens. If I wanted new aliens, I'd just watch another science fiction show. The reason you watch Star Trek is not so you can see some jackass who's, the perfect, white man hero being a captain going off into space. That's not why I watch Star Trek. I watch it for the established lore, for the aliens, for the Klingons, for the themes that make Star Trek, which were severely lacking in the reboots. So if all this is another series that just steals the name Star Trek and has none of the themes or things that actually make Star Trek, then I might not like it. I'll probably watch it, but I wouldn't be a huge fan. But they get that feel of Star Trek and with modern day like storytelling, rather than like the crappy like Enterprise was just fucking redoing everything that's already been done a billion times, and you're just like rolling your eyes. It's like I've seen this like 20 times before. So there's potential for someone new like this Bad Robot team to just do original things with the modern day format, a serialized shorter format, and make it really good. So I'm open-minded at this point in the stage. So it's set for 2017. So probably they didn't specify when in 2017, but I'd be guessing like late 2017. So probably like 2 years from now. So basically we have another 2 years to speculate, wait till we get more information on all this. But yeah, just want to give my thoughts out real quick without making like a huge production out of it. And I do have a couple other Star Trek videos planned for this week. I'm doing an episode request for iBorg. I think tomorrow I should have that out. And I'm actually doing a breaking convention about Star Trek 2009 and how Star Trek Nemesis is better than that movie. So I know I'm going to get a lot of people disagreeing, because I know a lot of people hate Star Trek Nemesis. I'm a huge fan of Star Trek Nemesis, and I was going to explore why I think it's better than Star Trek 2009, which I didn't really like. I think it's really ironic that they call it Star Trek. Like I always had to call it Star Trek in 2009 in order to differentiate it from the rest of Star Trek, because it's very ironic it's called just Star Trek, because it's not Star Trek. It just isn't Star Trek at all. But anyway, those are my thoughts. Thanks a lot for watching. Make sure you subscribe. I got tons of Star Trek videos. If you haven't seen them, go explore them. And I'll see you later.